Welcome to the Memory and History channel. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on more videos like this one. A poised American woman from the early 1900s, elegantly dressed in period attire and wearing a large, elaborate hat. A timeless symbol of Edwardian grace and fashion sophistication. A striking 1963 portrait by Philippa Halsman of director Alfred Hitchcock, taken during the promotion of The Birds, Dorothea Lange's iconic photograph. Migrant mother, taken in Nipomo, California, during the Great Depression, captures the haunting face of Florence Owens Thompson. A destitute pea-picker and mother of 7, British actress, singer, and dancer Jessie Matthews rose to stardom during the 1930s as one of the most beloved figures in musical cinema. Captured in the aftermath of Japan's defeat in World War II, this photograph shows Japanese officers arriving under guard to negotiate their formal surrender to the British in Hong Kong. On October 26, 1864, the feared Confederate guerrilla leader William "Bloody Bill" Anderson met his violent end in Missouri. Hunted relentlessly for his brutal raids and terror tactics, Anderson was finally killed in a calculated Union ambush that ended his bloody legacy. Photographs of Johanna von Klinkosch, 1849-1925, a renowned artist's muse, model, and later the second wife of Prince Louis of Liechtenstein. Captured between the 1870s and 1900, these portraits reflect her grace and social prominence during the Austro-Hungarian Empire's golden era. Native American man stands solemnly beside the newly built Transcontinental Railroad in 1868, a haunting image capturing the moment when progress and loss intersected. The steel tracks symbolize both industrial triumph and the beginning of cultural displacement. Left-wing Iranian students celebrate the 1979 Islamic Revolution, proudly holding a portrait of Ayatollah Khomeini. The photo, taken in Iran around 1979, captures the revolutionary fervor and unity that briefly united diverse political factions before deep ideological divisions emerged. A haunting 1912. Photograph captures inventor Franz Reichelt moments before his fatal leap from the first deck of the Eiffel Tower, testing his self-made parachute suit. Standing 187 feet, 57 meters above ground, his tragic fall became one of history's earliest recorded aviation experiments gone wrong. One of the most shocking photographs of the Vietnam War, taken on February 2, 1968, during the Tet Offensive, captures Brigadier General Nguyen Ngoc Loan executing Viet Cong Captain Nguyen Van Lem on a Saigon street. The image, frozen at the split second of the gunshot, became a defining symbol of the brutal realities of war. A Japanese pacification unit member posts an official notice outlining the terms and nature of the occupation in Haiphong County, Guangdong Province, shortly after its capture in March 1941. Such notices were part of Japan's broader efforts to establish administrative control and suppress resistance in occupied Chinese. On October 26, 1958, Pan American's Clipper America, a Boeing 707, made aviation history as the first U.S. jetliner to carry paying passengers across the Atlantic. The flight from New York to Paris, covering 3,734 miles, marked the dawn of the jet age. October 27, 1937, Japanese Special Naval Landing. Forces capture nearly all of Zhebei, Shanghai, leaving only the Sihong and Continental Bank warehouses in Chinese control. At SNLF headquarters on Zhongwan Road, Commander Okochi and his staff celebrated their brutal victory with a meal. In 1932, a young Gloria Stewart posed for this alluring pre-code Universal Pictures publicity photo. Decades before, the world knew her as Old Rose in James Cameron's Titanic, 1997. A timeless beauty whose career spanned over 60 years. A serene glimpse of Shukraparian village, long before Islamabad rose around it. Simplicity, mud houses, and open fields once defined this land, now home to Pakistan's capital. A quiet memory of what existed before modernity took root. Japanese soldiers line up outside a so-called comfort station in occupied China during the late 1930s. These stations, part of a dark wartime system, exploited women across Asia, an enduring and painful chapter of World War II. History. A young factory worker at the U.S. Radium Corporation delicately paints glowing radium onto clock dials in 1916. Unaware of the deadly effects, these radium girls would later suffer horrific radiation poisoning, exposing one of history's most tragic industrial scandals. A captured Newport 17th biplane rests in enemy hands during World War I. Once a symbol of French aerial mastery, its frail frame and elegant design now stand silent, an artifact of early aviation and the brutal air duels that defined the skies. An aerial photograph taken by a British aircraft in 1919 shows the Ottoman Bosphorus, its waters calm beneath the fading empire. Warships and steamers drift between two continents, Europe and Asia, capturing a world on the brink of transformation. Sergeant Victor Hugo Espinosa, born in El Paso, Texas, 1929, showed fearless bravery at the Battle of Old Baldy and Chorwan. Korea, 1952. Charging through enemy fire, he secured vital ground, earning honor for his courage under relentless combat. Children on a yellow school bus in the 1980s, dressed as ghosts, superheroes, and monsters, laugh and trade candy bags. The air hums with excitement, Halloween magic alive in every smile, mask, and homemade costume glittering in autumn light. Workers and engineers gather under the scorching Rawalpindi sun as heavy machinery roars beside them. It's 1960, and the Rawal Dam begins to rise, a symbol of Pakistan's growing ambition to harness water, power, and progress. In May 1943, German troops forced captured Allied POWs to witness the Katyn massacre site, mass graves of Polish officers executed by the Soviets in 1940. A chilling moment of wartime propaganda, built on layers of horror and truth. Soldiers of Italy's 136th Armored Division, Giovanni Fascisti, stand in the North African desert. 1942, young, devoted, and untested. They fought under the blinding sun of Libya, facing British forces in a doomed struggle for Mussolini's empire. In WW, the B-17 All-American was torn apart mid-air over Tunisia, its tail barely attached after a collision. Yet, against all odds, the crippled bomber stayed airborne, flying 300 miles back to base, saving every man aboard. The first known photograph of the Pantheon in Rome, taken by Eugène Constant between 1848 and 1852, captures ancient grandeur through early photography. Using albumin on glass plate negatives, Constant preserved history at the dawn of visual documentation. Jean Tierney and Cornel Wilde share a haunting chemistry in Leave Her to Heaven, 1945. This Technicolor noir masterpiece blends beauty and obsession, with Tierney's chilling performance as one of cinema's most captivating femme fatales. The aftermath of the Odessa massacre, October 1941, thousands of Jewish men, women, and children executed by Axis-aligned Romanian troops near Berzula, a haunting reminder of the atrocities that scarred Eastern Europe during the Holocaust. An American ace pilot stands proudly beside his aircraft in Tunisia. 1943. Each mark beneath the cockpit tells a story of aerial triumph during World War II. a silent record of courage, precision, and survival in the North African skies. A rare 1926 view of Canberra, the young capital of Australia, still taking shape amid open plains and scattered buildings, a vision of modern governance emerging from the heart of the country's vast, untouched landscape. Gorizia, June 1944, a grim clash marking Italy's divided wartime loyalties and brutal resistance battles. A dazzling romantic comedy from MGM's golden era. The Philadelphia Story, 1940, stars Cary Grant, James Stewart, Katharine Hepburn, and John Howard in a battle of wit, charm, and class. Directed by George Cukor, it remains timeless Hollywood perfection. Phantom of the Monastery, 1934, is a haunting gem of early Mexican Gothic cinema. Eerie, morally charged, and surprisingly dark for its time. Its chilling atmosphere, religious symbolism, and psychological horror make it a forgotten masterpiece of macabre storytelling. Beneath the drooping willow, friends gather in a wooden boat, sunlight flickering through the leaves. Their sign reads, "As we are, Rome City," a gentle declaration of youth and peace on Sylvan Lake, Indiana, in the early 1900s. Italian soldiers man an early anti-aircraft system in Venice, 1915. With rifles and mounted guns pointed skyward, they stand ready to defend the city from enemy aircraft during the early years of World War I, the iconic Escape from New York. Marquee lights up a Manhattan street in 1981. Crowds gather beneath the neon glow to see John. Carpenter's dystopian thriller, capturing the gritty, electric energy of New York's golden age of cinema. A young Jerome Silberman, soon to be known as Gene Wilder, in 1955. Long before Willy Wonka and Young Frankenstein, he was a theater student with a quiet intensity, already carrying the spark of comic genius behind his gentle eyes. March 1956. Grace Kelly departs Hollywood for the final time, leaving behind stardom to marry Prince Rainier of Monaco. The golden girl of cinema, poised and radiant, steps onto the ship that would carry her into royal legend. A rainy evening in Munich, 1920s. Reflections shimmer across cobblestone streets as trams rattle past and pedestrians hurry beneath umbrellas. The air feels heavy with post-war silence, capturing a fleeting, melancholic beauty of interwar Germany. The Bat, 1959, a chilling mystery thriller starring Vincent Price. In a mansion plagued by murder and fear, shadows lurk behind every door. Classic Gothic suspense meets sharp mid-century style in this timeless piece of cinematic terror. A Czech-built Avia S-199, adapted from the German Bf-109G, served in Israel's fledgling air force during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Despite its flaws, it became a symbol of survival and determination in the nation's earliest battles for existence. Children dressed in colorful Halloween costumes ride a yellow school bus, their faces painted with joy and mischief. It's the 1980s, a time of plastic masks, candy buckets, and pure autumn nostalgia. German infantrymen in 1914, marching confidently through open fields before the grim reality of trench warfare set in, the early days of the Western Front, when movement and optimism still lingered in the air. soldiers of the 1st Volunteer Bersaglieri Battalion, B. Mussolini, operate a Breda 37 machine gun during combat in northeast Italy. 25, one of the final stands of Italy's fascist forces as the war neared its end. Audrey Hepburn examines a car wreck diagram, likely during pre-production research for a film scene, showcasing her meticulous attention to detail and realism even off-camera. A young boy grins with pride while sitting behind the wheel of his miniature car. A marvel of early 1900s craftsmanship, capturing childhood joy and fascination with automobiles in Michigan during a simpler, inventive era. During Bloody Sunday on January 30th, 1972, civil rights protesters in Derry carry the lifeless body of a teenager shot by British paratroopers. A tragic moment that intensified Northern Ireland's conflict and symbolized the struggle for justice and equality. After the devastating 1906 earthquake, San Francisco lay in ruins, smoke rising from countless fires. From the Union Ferry building tower, Market Street stretches through the destruction, capturing a city in shock in the enormity of the catastrophe. Merle Oberon captivates on the set of Temptation in 1945, poised and elegant. Behind the cameras, the glamour of Hollywood's golden era unfolds, blending artistry, drama, and star power in every carefully crafted scene she inhabits. Monte Cassino lies in ruins after the 1944 Allied bombing, smoke and rubble marking the fierce battle. Soldiers and civilians witnessed the destruction of the historic abbey. A pivotal moment in the Italian campaign of World War II. Italian troops advance in disciplined columns across the arid terrain during the August 1940 invasion of British Somaliland, showcasing Mussolini's East African campaign and the strategic push into British-held territories in the Horn of Africa. A group of black physicians poses at Dunbar Hospital in Detroit, 1922, symbolizing professional achievement and dedication to serving the African-American community during an era of racial segregation in healthcare. A group of village children from the Kiev region, 1911, smile and pose for the camera, capturing a glimpse of rural life in early 20th century Ukraine, their clothing and expressions reflecting the simplicity and charm of the era. In early 1900s, New Athens, Ohio, a young family poses for photographer Joseph E. Williams. The father stands proudly, mother seated, while their 3 sons huddle close, capturing a formal yet intimate portrait of family life from the era. In 1911, King George V embarked on a 10-day royal hunting expedition in Nepal. With a massive crew of 12,000, countless tigers, rhinoceros, bears, leopards, deer, boar, porcupines, and birds were hunted, showcasing the scale of imperial sport and extravagance. In North Africa, an Italian soldier seizes a British soldier emerging from a shelter, capturing him amidst the harsh desert battles of World War II, highlighting the constant tension and peril faced by troops on both sides. A man sits frozen in ironic disbelief, capturing a moment of unexpected contradiction in 1966, where reality clashes sharply with expectation, reflecting the subtle absurdities of everyday life in mid-20th century society. In 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife ride through Sarajevo, unaware that their peaceful car trip could turn deadly. Moments before assassination sparks the outbreak of World War I, forever changing history. Around the early 1900s in rural Michigan, men, women, and children pose outside a rough wooden camp, capturing the harsh daily life of mining and logging communities, their expressions reflecting resilience amid the demanding work and rustic surroundings. In 1918, American soldiers introduced British troops to baseball, demonstrating the sport's rules and techniques, fostering camaraderie and cultural exchange during World War I, as laughter and curiosity fill the field under the watchful eyes of both armies. At the 1900 Paris Exposition, the Turkish and American pavilions stand proudly, showcasing architectural styles, cultural exhibits, and technological marvels, drawing crowds from around the world to marvel at the innovation, artistry, and international spirit of the turn-of-the-century fair. Aachen Town Hall, once nearly destroyed by Allied raids in 1943-44, is shown during reconstruction and later in 2016. This medieval administrative center and former prison was saved from collapse with emergency beams, preserving centuries of historic architecture. HMS Lion, once a proud battlecruiser, is dismantled in Jarrow in 1924. Scrapping fulfills the Washington Naval Treaty requirements, marking the end of an era for the ship that once symbolized British naval power. A Japanese machine gun from an A6M0 is jammed inside a quad 40mm Bofors anti-aircraft gun on USS Missouri, showing the chaos of battle and the intensity of aerial attacks during World War II. Vietnamese soldiers serve in World War I in 1917, part of colonial forces deployed by France. They endure harsh conditions on European battlefields, fighting far from home while facing the brutal realities of modern warfare. A young man stands proudly in a striped jacket and patterned tie, posing formally for the camera. Captured by N.C. White in Gainesville, Georgia, circa early 1900s, the portrait reflects the fashion and dignity of the era,